here's your assets,
User
what are
in
you
your
going to
channel
do?
timed out.
And you're looking at a map trying to come up with what a plan that you're
User
going to
entered
do.
your channel.
We do this, I know in TBS for, or not TBS, in op orders, I believe. We still do it where we say, here's a situation, here's a map, here's some symbols and stuff
User
on
in your
it,
channel
write
is
me an op
recording.
order or something like that.
User in your channel is recording.
So some of you guys might have some experience doing that in TBS and maybe the op order class, maybe Sergeant's course. This is probably going to be a little bit different than that. It's not just a here's a map, here's the situation, go, and I proctor it. It's not going to be exactly that. Give me 2 seconds because apparently my pizza's done.
User left your channel. User in your channel is recording. User in your channel is recording.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Before I continue, is anybody in here not in the Twiddly yet?
Me, sir. Taylor.
All right,
Thank
there's
you,
a link to it.
User
Also,
in
for
your
those that
channel
never use
is
Twiddly, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a save button, and then right underneath that is the undo button. If you make a mark, especially by accident, click
User in
undo,
your
and it'll
channel
make
is
the mark go
recording.
away. I see 3 little red dots, so obviously 1 to 3 people need to click undo still. Now, back to where I was saying, this will be a little bit different than just me proctoring a choose your own adventure thing, because this is based on a training mission that I actually ran. And I say training mission, it wasn't technically a training mission, it was a Milsim Airsoft game. I know some of you guys are tracking on me that went to that Milsim West Airsoft game. Those that have military experience in here, that was the closest thing I can ever think of civilians getting to having an FTX or effects if you're in the Marine Corps. Like, it was fucking on point. It could have been a straight up training mission. So I actually got a lot of learning experience out of them, and I'm going to intend to go to these things. They usually do them 3 or 4 times a year, and I'm definitely going to try to go to them in the future just because it was such an outstanding training event for me personally. So it was an airsoft game, but understand that it was also a very good training environment for me, and so that's what I'm basing this on, is a actual mission that I ran in this game that I mean, it was done the same way we would do stuff in a military training exercise, as well as kind of the stuff that we do here in the 15th. So the way this is gonna work is I'm gonna have probably 5 or 6 youth that want to do it, and priority will go to those that are in high level. Priority will basically be infantry platoon commanders, and then combat arms platoon HQs, and then company HQs, but there's no company HQs in here, I don't think, followed by basically infantry position. And that'll be the priority to who actually will be participating. Everybody else, you are definitely free to watch, listen, think in your own mind, and pretty much in every step of the way, after everybody else has had a chance to talk in the who's participating, I will say, does anybody have anything profound that they want to brief? So if there's something that we just completely missed, and it better be something that's different than what's already been briefed because we don't want to waste our time, then you'll have the opportunity to say, hey, I had this idea. So there'll be that option for those that aren't necessarily participating, but just playing along. In addition to that, like I was saying, this won't just be a me proctoring whatever you guys decide to do. It's based on something that I actually did. So every step of the way, I'll be explaining what's going on, and then I will say, what would you guys do? What is your decision? What do you want to do now? And
User in
then
your
we'll
channel
listen to
is
everybody.
recording.
We'll all be able to talk about and think
User
about
in
what
your
their
channel
ideas
is
were,
recording.
maybe get some improves and sustains on what their ideas were, and then whether it's the same thing I did or not, I will say, okay, cool, this is what actually happened, or this is what I did, and that's how we'll progress through the situation. Any questions on how it's going to go down?
estimated time duration of the course or class?
I would say probably, depending on how involved everybody is, minimum 45 minutes, probably more likely 60 to 90. Going once for questions.
User in your channel is
Going
recording.
twice for questions. Okay. Again, there's that undo button on freaking Twiddler. There's now 5 little dots. Whoever's dots those are, I suggest you click the undo button, because if there's stuff like that happens when we actually start going through stuff, it's going to get really busy really quick. And Captain Wigan, you have an open mic. Okay. So here's the situation. You are a platoon commander, and you're going into a NATO task force. This NATO task force is almost entirely U.S. Army. The NATO task force has been in combat recently in Ukraine, Russia. Essentially, this is the whole thing that happened with Crimea, is your general background, but not necessarily historically. It's a different, that the actual events that this game was based off of, and this happened a month before all the shit actually started happening with Crimea. It was kind of freaky. So essentially, here's what's been going on. Russians have been having aggression and have actually clashed with NATO forces in that region. Not necessarily exactly in the Crimea Peninsula, but in that region of Ukraine-Russia border. This NATO task force, the company that you're going to go into is Team Titan. It's a company team. The Army's weird. They organize their shit into teams sometimes. But it's kind of a combined arms team at the company level. It's designated Team Titan, and its call sign is Drifter. So all of its subordinate sections are going to be Drifter. Same way that we have Gambler 6, Gambler 1, Gambler 2. They're just Drifter. You are going in as first platoon commander. The company has seen combat operations and has taken combat losses, so you do not have a TO breakdown. There are combat losses, so there's gaps here and there. But first platoon is the largest platoon in the company. Your TO looks like this. Can everyone see the Team Titan company TO?
Yes.
Okay. I should have asked, can anybody not see it? Okay. So you've got 3 infantry platoons there. You are the commander of first platoon. In addition to that, you have a truck section. That little square with the wheel-looking thing inside of it, that's a transportation. It's a NATO symbol for transportation. You have a truck section. That truck section is 2 7-tons and a fast attack vehicle. None of those vehicles are armed, and they're all light-skinned. That fast attack vehicle, think dune buggy. It's got a capacity of about 6, including the driver. The 7-tons have a capacity of about 22, technically. You can actually probably pack 30, 35 guys in there. You also have 2 special forces teams. One special forces team is an SAS team, about 10 guys big. The second special forces team is a MARSOC special forces team, about 10 guys big again. And then you have 2 scout sniper teams for a total of 4 snipers. They're 2-man teams. In addition, there is a 60mm mortar section, as well as a 81mm mortar platoon in direct support of the company. The company HQ will pretty much always be directing those fires, or rather approving the fires and directing the locations of those. For this exercise, you can just assume anywhere on the map, anywhere in the AO, is covered by both the 60mm and the 81mm mortars. Does anybody have any questions on the company TO? Great. This is your platoon's TO. It's first platoon, it's an infantry platoon. Again, it's the largest platoon that you've got in the entire company. You, as the platoon commander, you have a platoon sergeant who you just met when you got there, and he is a prior, like he just got done being a sniper section leader. And your squad leaders are not very experienced. You have three squads, three rifle squads. Each of those squads is about 10 guys strong. And then you have a machine gun squad. That machine gun squad is 3 M240s and a squad leader. Those M240 teams are only 2-man teams. So there's only 7 guys in the entire machine gun squad, and there's 3 guns. You also have a RTO that's attached to the HQ, and a medic. 1 medic for the entire platoon that's attached to the HQ. Are there any questions about what you have as in your platoon? Outstanding. Okay, so you arrive at the company, you take charge of your platoon, you meet the company commander, do the handshake, get to know him, and then you start talking to your squad leaders. Time is about 16:30 in the afternoon. Sunset is around 1900. So you got a few hours of light. It's Friday night. The company commander comes out about a half hour later after you've been talking with your squad leaders, getting to know them a little bit, trying to get a gauge for their experience, and he says that we've got a company op order. So the company piles into a briefing room. The entire company is located in an abandoned civilian building, and I'll show you a map of the AO in a minute. And he says that the Russians in the area, we don't know exactly how strong they are. We also know that we are now in Crimea, and that the general population is opposed to the Russians. That being said, there is a strong aggressive insurgency that is for a Ukrainian-Russian reunification, I guess you could say. This insurgency is well-funded, well-equipped, and well-trained. And we don't know how strong they are, we don't know their disposition, and we don't know their exact strength. The company's mission for tonight is to conduct reconnaissance patrols to determine if the insurgency and the Russians are going to be working together, if they've even made contact, what the strength and disposition of the Russians are, and what the strength and disposition of this insurgency is. We also want to know if the general civilian population has any interactions with either of those two forces. First platoon, that's you all, are QRF for the night. Second platoon, they're responsible for reconning just north of a major population center in the area. Third platoon is responsible for the south of that major population center. The sniper teams are responsible for the actual reconnaissance of inside the town. They're not to enter. And the special forces teams, the MARSOC team, is going to push 2 kilometers north of this population center and watch a road. It's a MSR through the area. And the SAS team is going to assist those snipers in actually getting eyes on into the town. They're going to punch out just after dark, about 2000.
User in your channel is recording.
2000 rolls around, everybody punches out. In the meantime, you've got your platoon just getting to know each other, getting the squad leaders spun up. You run the squad leaders through some sand table exercises, some reaction to contact, stuff like that, and then you push them back to their fire team leaders and their squads to actually start teaching what you just went over with them. Again, 2100 rolls around, nothing really has happened. The sections are just getting in position and haven't really seen much. 2200 rolls around and you're sitting in the COC just basically listening to radio traffic. Nothing's happening. You decide, you and your platoon start talk it out and decide you want to run some drills. So you run 3 or 4 drills over the next couple hours of pretending like the QRF is getting deployed, getting everybody out freaking accounted for, and getting ready to step, and then going to stand down again. Midnight rolls around, and still nothing's really happened. Everybody's going to start withdrawing out of the AO. As the sections are withdrawing, 2nd platoon, which is the immediately north of the major population center, calls a tick. Does anybody know what a tick is?
Troops in contact.
Yes, exactly. What does that mean, though?
They're being engaged and need support.
That is the huge misconception about a tick. Does anybody know what a tick actually means? It means that they're unable to maneuver and that they cannot organically defeat the threat. So they call a tick. What in reality had happened was they bumped into an enemy fire team in the dark with a platoon, and they broke contact. But they called a tick, so that your QRF gets told, punch out, go get these guys. You basically punch out 300 meters and then see them walking back in column to the COC. So you turn around and walk back. About 0-1, mission's over. You do an AAR, talk about what they saw. They basically saw the Russians come in, talk to these insurgent group, and they didn't really get any actionable intel. The Russians and the insurgency talked, and then the Russians left. That's all we know. Now, that's the background so far of what's going on. Before we continue, I'm going to get our actual participants. Put a C in chat if you want to be a direct participant. Okay, I've got 4 participants now. I got room for 2 more. 1 more. Going once. Going twice. All right, Longfield. There we go. So the people that are actually I'm going to be engaging with questions and that kind of thing are Donahue, Scanlon, Fenley, Malibu, Wasson, and Longfield. Wasson, did I pronounce your name right?
That is correct.
Okay. Outstanding. So 0-100, all that stuff happened, and you go to bed. You wake up the next morning 05. Dawn happens, freaking sun comes up, and just to give you a general overview of what the immediately surrounding area looks like, go ahead and reference this picture. This one's a little bit more higher resolution, so it might take longer to load on your computers. That is the building you are in. The entire company is in that building. All of the buildings nearby, every single building that you can see in this picture is abandoned. It's an abandoned town. That is an MSR. Goes off in that direction. Off in that direction where the arrow is pointing is that major population center that I talked about. It's like 800 meters that way. This picture does a decent job of showing what you can actually see from that building. If you just walk out and around and go maybe 100 meters away from the building, this is what you can see essentially. And that's it. There's another MSR that goes that way.
Can you mark the building again that we're in? Because that didn't show up in mine.
Yeah, I'm not seeing most of these marks. They're still loading in, sorry, sir.
Okay. Give it just. It's still loading. The picture's still loading?
Not anymore, but when you were marking it.
Gotcha. So you only see like half the marks?
Yeah.
See the MSR markings, but not the building
Okay.
marking.
I just removed all my markings. I'll read them. So that's the building you're in. That's an MSR. That's an MSR. And the direction of that arrow is about 800 to a kilometer away is that population center. Tracking now on where we're at?
Roger.
Mm-hmm.
Company commander talks to you the next morning, and all the platoon commanders come in for a brief. This is about 06. Platoon sergeant has the platoon. He's doing shit with them. This next picture pops up. I'll give it a minute to load. And it's long. So once it does load, just scroll all the way to the bottom and you should see that building I already pointed out circled.
Roger.
Loaded.
Okay. The mission for today is to conduct reconnaissance and reconnaissance in force to the north of the current location in order to determine the Russian insurgency's strength, disposition, and their general, what's the word I'm looking for? How they're working together, or if they are not working together.
Relationship, sir?
There you go. Their general relationship. First platoon is tasked with an AO of that box on the north side of the picture, the light blue box. Your mission is to get up there and conduct reconnaissance patrols in that area and determine that Russian strength, disposition, relationship with the insurgency in that area. Second platoon is going to be right in the middle, like basically same sized AO right next to it. And then third platoon is going to be next to it. So essentially it would look roughly like that for your AO breakup. That purple circle is a position that the company commander has identified that could be a reasonable patrol base if you want to set one up for your platoon, but it's not in order. He's also determined that the sniper teams are going to go in earlier. They're going to be responsible for a much larger AO, about like that. Both sniper teams working that AO, same mission that you have, just larger AO to the north, but it does overlap your AO. Sniper teams will be inserting by a fast attack vehicle an hour before the rest of the force. Goal for them is to deploy at 0730. The rest of the force is going to go in 2 waves via both 7 tons, and their deployment time is going to be 0830. Both the sniper teams and the rest of the force is going to have an insertion point here. They'll be driving down the MSR. Taking that route there and back. The order is going to be 1st Platoon, Special Forces teams, both MARSOC and SAS, and half of 2nd Platoon in the first wave. Second wave will be the rest of the company. You are designated as the commander of troops once you hit the deck until the company HQ gets there. You're also responsible for setting up security with your platoon, and only your platoon. You don't get access to special forces at the insertion point. Russian forces are not expected to be operating south of that insertion point. That's the farthest south that we think they possibly could be. It's about 6:15 right now. Go ahead and come up with a plan about how you want to accomplish your mission. I'll give you maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Just put a D for Delta in chat when you're done with your plan.
Do we jump up to classroom 2 or just do this here?
You can just do it here. All of you come up with an individual plan.
Got it.
User in your channel is recording.
You start already?
Yeah, but I actually had one of my participants drop out. If you want to, and we just started basically the actual stuff. I can brief you up real quick.
User was moved out of your channel. User left your channel. User disconnected from your channel.
Yeah, Rittenhausen isn't here, so you can't see it.
User in your channel is recording. User disconnected from your channel. User in your channel is recording. User in your channel is recording.
Okay, I've gotten Major Drumheller spun up on the situation. He's tracking. He's going to be participating as well. I assume that most of you guys are finalizing or done with your plans. We'll give the Major a couple more minutes to finalize how he wants to do things, then we'll brief. Whenever you're done, Drum, just put like a D in chat.
Okay. So what I'm doing is basically planning for the entire
Yep, with what you've been given
entire
right
thing.
now, time is 0630. Snipers leave
User
in
in
1
your
hour.
channel is
You leave in
recording.
2 hours. And what you've been given so far, that's your mission. That's what you're planning.
User left your channel. User in your channel is recording. User left your channel.
And I'll also say, if you have any non-tactical stuff, like administrative stuff that you want to go do, like go talk to second platoon leader, like you can do that too. Just let me know when you brief your plan, and I'll talk as if I'm second platoon leader and answer your questions, or however that goes. Like, it'll be very freeform. If you can't do it, I'll just tell you can't do it. Okay, anybody in my participants still working? Great.
I think so, sir.
Put a V for Victor in chat if you want to volunteer to go first. All right, Donahue. All right, Drumheller got it. What are you going to do, Drumheller?
As per company orders, move up to the dismount point. Would prefer to be abreast with platoon or first platoon, and second platoon is going to be around here, and then third platoon is going to be around here. That's correct.
Yeah, that's their AOs.
Move west from the dismount point into the tree line, and pretty much go in a platoon wedge north into the AO. Once we're in the AO, check out the recommended OP if it's got good line of sight up into the rest. Leave one of the squads and one of the MG teams there to overwatch. Have, we'll say, first squad move through the tree line. How far does that tree line go? And assuming they can get cover and or concealment, maybe move them to this Y intersection to set up a blocking position, at which point third squad will stay at the OP, and second squad will move. Looks like there might be another thin tree line, at least intermittently, along the road right here. Try to stay in those trees. If there's good line of sight in the open area, either from first squad or second squad, to recon into this area, they'll do it from concealment. Otherwise, second squad will move up and end and set up another defensive position at the crossroad there.
Okay. Anything else?
User in your channel is recording.
Each squad will have one attached MG team from the MG squad.
Okay.
Is this in-game?
No.
Nope. Just in a map.
Link.
There you go. All right, Donahue, give me something that you like and something that you would improve on the Major's plan.
Okay, I liked checking out the patrol base, keeping each MG team with a squad, and sticking in the tree line. That's what I was planning on doing with mine.
Okay.
And the only thing that I was gonna do differently was, instead of moving directly west from the dismount point, I would have moved north first to where those roads. Let me see if I can mark on the map here. Would have moved north to here. So I'd be with the at least one other platoon at that time. So as we crossed, I would have them cover us as well. Cross cautiously with one squad at a time, moving across to the other side.
Okay.
That's all.
Anybody else that's participating have a improve or sustain for the Major? Scanlan? Improve or sustain. You don't have to do both. Okay. Very well.
Can you hear Scanlan?
I can't.
Sorry. Actually, would I be able to ask a question first to the second platoon commander and then suggest either a sustain or improve?
No, because here, I'll get back to that question.
Okay.
Given that you cannot ask a question to second platoon commander first, do you have anything for the Major?
No.
Okay. Donahue, with your plan, Major, if you could take off all your marks. Donahue, with your plan, was it pretty much identical minus the point that you crossed?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to brief it, or is there not enough difference to brief?
I don't think there's enough difference to brief.
Okay. Does anybody participating have a plan that's different enough, maybe how you organize your forces even, that's different enough to be worthy to brief?
I have my first part is slightly different, but the rest of it's basically the same.
Okay. Said it, Luggold. Like, what do you got different?
Basically, instead of leaving, obviously, once you leave the, if I mark on the map, you leave the this area here where you're going to have set up security for your insertion point, you're leaving a very understrength platoon by itself. You know, we don't know exactly what's come up, whether it's squads or a squad and the MGs per se. But if you set up security, yeah, while we wait for the rest the forces to come up, at least till say this here, this crossroad, before moving out. I was going to do what Drumheller did, was cut in a platoon wedge straight west, come up through the tree lines then.
Okay. I know I said it in the room, but I know I didn't say it to Major Drumheller. This line right here is the farthest south we expect enemy forces at this time. I know you already briefed, but that might help you later. I don't know.
I didn't say it, but my intent was not to leave the dismount point until at least
the rest of the
second
company
platoon
got
got there. Yeah, but I think you said it was my responsibility for everyone to get there. So until everyone.
Correct.
There, yeah.
Great. Scanlan, back to your question. What question do you have for the second platoon commander?
Only how long it would take for his platoon to get up to the dismount point.
Depends on how long it's going to take the truck to get back. Probably about double the time that it took to get you there. Because the trucks basically just have to turn around and go pick up the rest of the company, plus loading time of the trucks.
Okay, so I was making the assumption that the dismount point would have been left unsecured, so hence I was going to.
Right, you were tasked to be responsible for the dismount point security until the entire company was there.
Yep. Apart from that, I have no other changes.
Okay. Anybody else
User
have
in your
anything
channel is
profound
recording.
that is profoundly different in the entire channel that they would have done differently? Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What we didn't address is the scale of your map. What is the, let's say, the distance from the OP to say the limit of advance? How long is that box? It will determine fields of fire.
It's pretty shitty. I know the map is pretty shitty because it's a sat map. Best I can tell you is look at the buildings all the way at the bottom for scale. I think from our starting position, just basing off memory, from that starting building to the northernmost point of our AO is about 4 kilometers.
Yeah, and that's when I had that squad with the MG team set up here, my assumption was that from there it would be about at the most 1 kilometer up in this direction, and if they have eyes on the whole thing, they'll be able to at the very least provide suppressive fire, and the 240 will be able to provide killing fire.
Yep. Also, I know I didn't say it at the very beginning, and it may or may not change your plans. The AO that you're operating in, it is May, and you have not gotten a chance to actually get into the tree line yet to see how thick the area is. Like, you basically freaking drove a truck up to the company
User left your
headquarters
channel.
after landing in country. So you don't actually know what the vegetation thickness and that kind of stuff is either. Just to head off that question. All right, we've got all of our plans ready. Everybody feel comfortable moving on from this position. Like, that was your planning. This is what you got down on a map and said, hey, platoon sergeant, here's what I think we should do. That's the step we're at. Maybe 0645 in the morning. Everybody good to move on?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. It is 07. And at any time at this point, if anybody has an idea that they want to do right now, administrative or not, they can just speak up and say. So it is 07 right now.
Is that before we've rolled out?
Yeah, our sniper's rollout time in the FAV is 0730, and our rollout time is 0830. It's 0715.
I would just specify to the platoon their fields or their sectors of responsibility while at the dismount point. Make sure that we'll just say first squad has eyes as well as they can up the road in that direction. Second squad will be in the middle trying to watch into the trees.
Okay.
And then third squad from wherever they can will have eyes as far up this road as they can.
Okay. So you make sure your squad leaders got the warm and fuzzies on what their responsibilities are.
Right.
Anybody else? 0715 right now. Yeah.
Just to
that?
check, are the snipers under radio silence or not?
Yeah, they're on the radio. They're on the company
Okay.
radio now.
I'd request the command if it's possible to get snipers to give approximate vegetation type, how dense the vegetation is in the area.
Okay.
So we can have an idea of how dense that vegetation is.
They don't leave for another 15 minutes, so you can basically go talk to the sniper teams and ask that.
Okay.
So you go do that. You go say,
Yeah.
hey, while you're out there, as soon as you get into the tree line, give me a call on the company net. Let me know what the vegetation's like. Anybody else? 0715.
Would we be able to have any kind of contact with the mortar teams at all, or is that a company level?
It is a company level asset. If You are able to call mortars at any time. The company HQ and 3rd Platoon have priority of fires. And any request for fire has to be sent to the company headquarters, and they will process that and have the mortars start shooting. So you can't contact the mortars directly.
Roger. Just making sure.
Yep. Anybody else?
To follow up on what Longfield said, I would do the same, as well as ask. I would assume, but I think that's the purpose of this exercise, is to not assume anything. So I'll talk to the sniper teams as well, and make sure that any relative intel on any sort of enemy forces or anything they think would be relevant to us gets passed down to us. And same thing for the 2 SF teams.
Awesome. You talk to the squad leaders, or you talk to the sniper teams, and let them know, hey, terrain, vegetation, I need to know that as soon as you can get it to me. And also, if you see anybody, like, keep me abreast. And they're like, roger that, tracking. Anybody else for 0715?
Are these roads paved or dirt?
From what you can see immediately around the area, they are paved. You do not know if they turn to dirt or not.
Okay.
Anybody else? 0730. Snipers are loading into their FAV. Anybody at 0730? Okay. I'll stop it here for a second. Good thinking, Longfield, Grimhiller, on like getting with those sniper teams and trying to get some extra information out of them, because you've got a bunch of questions. Like, you don't know what the fucking terrain looks like out there. You've got, how long do we have before we have to be in the truck rolling?
An hour.
How long do you think it's going to take that buggy to get to the dismount point and back?
20 minutes.
Not even that. If it's only 4 kilometers.
Oh, it's 4 kilometers to our northernmost point in our area.
Yeah, and that's not
as
far as
yep.
going.
Well, it depends on the roads if they go to dirt or not.
That's true, but it is a buggy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What is an FAV? It's
think freaking dune buggy.
Yeah.
Just be 20 minutes for safety, probably 10 minimum.
Okay, 10 to 20 minutes. Is there a problem going to the company commander and saying, hey, sir, I'm going to ride as security for the snipers just on their truck route, and I'll be back in 20 minutes? Like, what would that give you if you did that?
Eyes on.
Intel that doesn't need to be interpreted.
Exactly. Like, you fucking see the route that your truck's going to be driving in an hour. It only takes you 10 to 20 minutes, and you get to physically get eyes on the dismount point, so you can actually go back and finalize your plan, and you get to see how thick the vegetation is. What do we call that?
Leader's recon.
Exactly, a freaking leader's recon. There's nothing wrong with doing that, and that's what I did. I fucking went up to my company commander and said, hey, I'm going to go out with that FAV. I'll probably be back in like 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes max. Is that okay? And he's like, yeah, freaking good idea. So I load up with the snipers, I grab my RTO, and we get to right there, and the battery goes out on the FAV. So snipers basically dismount and start hiking to the north, and I don't get to see shit, and we end up getting another truck to come out and tow that FAV back. So if somebody had said leaders recon, freaking awesome job, and take that away as a learning point, like any chance you can get to do anything, get that leaders recon. You can apply it here to the 15th too. If you've got 40 minutes to burn, or for some reason the infantry is stalled or something, and there's a Huey flying overhead, there isn't nothing wrong with you calling that Huey and being like, hey, can I ride in the back of your bird for the next 20 minutes? And just look around. And you don't have to necessarily send them different places or go do a reconnaissance mission. Just take advantage of stuff that's going on, be able to knock out those leader recons. So you attempt to do a leader's recon, and your freaking assets fail on you, and you get back at like 08. So you got about a half hour before your step time. So 08, you just got back. Anybody want to do anything?
Did you give us a weather report?
I did not. Good question. It is partly cloudy, 65, 70 degrees out. I mean, partly cloudy, 65, 70. Light wind out of the west. And if you can see on this picture, that's the ocean right next to RAO.
Are the other platoons all rolling out at the same time as us?
That first load in the first 2 7-tons is going to be all of your platoon, first platoon, and the 2 sniper teams, or as it was, the 2 special forces teams, and half of second platoon. Excuse me. So that's the first wave.
Just thinking, since now it's going to take the snipers twice as long to get to where they need to get to go, might need to stagger the time or scale it back.
Well, they basically just dismounted off that FAV when it broke down and started walking. So they've been walking since like 07:35. So by the time you're loading in the truck and about to roll out, they'll have been walking for almost an hour.
So they're probably at 3 or 4 kilometers already anyway.
Yeah. But, I mean, good idea. Not your call, so you basically go up to the company commander and say, hey, here's my idea. And he says, hey, good thinking. I'll check with the spot rep. He calls them with snipers on the radio, and they say that they're getting close to their AO. They've been hauling. At that same point, they're going to fill those CCRs, the Commander's Critical Information Request that you guys requested, terrain, vegetation, and enemy. They haven't seen shit for enemy. The terrain near the dismount point is actually fairly thick. We're talking maybe a max of 100 meters. The area that you see on your map, on your sat map, to the west of the dismount point, that's freaking clear and flat. And that's about all they've got for you at this time. Anybody else have any more questions or comments for 0800?
Relay the information you received from the snipers to your squad leaders.
Okay, yeah, good. Pass it on. Let them know what's up. Anything else? 0815. Anybody? 0830. It's time to load in the trucks. Company commander comes by and says, hey, one of the truck batteries is dead. Stand by. Anybody at 0830 after that information have anything?
Well, how long are we going to be? Are we just waiting to see how long it's going to take to get that fixed, or if it's going to get fixed?
Yep. Yeah, he basically just said stand by. We're going to try to fix it.
Is there still a way to get the other truck to go out there with the SF?
Yeah, the other truck's running. I don't know if I told you guys. I know I told Major Drumheller, and I might have briefed it to you. The Special Forces teams have their own mission, which you were not privy to. And you don't know exactly where they'll be operating either. They're OFP. They're on their own fucking program.
Roger.
Are they still delayed due to the trucks being
Yes.
broken down?
That entire first wave is delayed right along with you.
If at all possible, is there a way to send the one truck up with half of your own platoon and the SF teams just to get security up there and allow the SF teams to be getting on to their objectives?
You go up and ask that to your company commander. He says, hey, let's see if we can get this truck fixed first. We've only been broken for like a minute and a half.
Roger.
Anybody else?
I'd send a request back up to Scout Sniper, see if they see anything different. Got any more intel on terrain and vegetation, etc.
You call for them, and they got nothing new. They're several hundred meters north of the dismount point.
User in your channel is recording.
Anything else for 08? All right, waiting around. 0815 rolls around. The company commander tells you, hey, that truck's a no-go. We're going to have to go everybody in 4 waves now. We're going to pack this one truck that we got working real tight. Well, let's just see how many people we can pack in there. So you go outside, Special Forces teams pack in, and you're able to get every single person in your entire platoon, except for one fire team from 3rd Squad and the platoon sergeant, into that truck. It's not pleasant. But you get rolling with this giant-ass fucking force. And you start rolling out, and you get to the dismount point. That is not the picture I wanted. All right, you get to the dismount point. Once this picture loads, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see a more zoomed in version of the dismount point. And I will give it a minute to load. Anybody still not loaded? Good. So this fucking truck full of dudes comes rolling down the MSR, makes a left turn here, and these buildings are abandoned. Nobody's milling about outside them, and you stop and dismount in that little tiny paved area.
So we left our platoon sergeant and one fire team behind?
Correct. So you're it on the ground. You've got total command and control. You don't have a platoon sergeant to help you out. You look to the north and in the trees around the area, and this is generally what the terrain looks like. I'll give it a minute to load.
Load it instantly for me.
Okay, great. Slight elevation changes, some moderately thick underbrush, and pine trees pretty much. Not too terrible, but a little bit restrictive. Anybody want to stay on this picture anymore, or can I go back? All right, back to the dismount point. You dismount, you see what you see. Drumheller, do you have any changes to, or how are you going to set up security here?
I'm going to take the squad that's down one fire team and keep them in the center. Still watching north as well as they can. As well as, always making sure they have an all-around 360, but with the majority watching in the AO. I'm still going to send one full squad to each one of those two positions, not necessarily to the crossroad. I would probably leave that at the discretion of the squad leader, where he can best put his own squad and have good cover and good visibility. And I think I would probably have the squad that's down recon north into those trees.
Okay.
I think that covers everything.
Cool. Let's see. Fenley, what do you do for that security and what's happened so far now that you're on the ground?
Probably have one of the machine gun Jeans and set in security somewhere along in here to have line of sight out on this big open area to provide cover for any movements across, and have one of the squads set up just a rough 180, roughly, let's see, in either these areas along here to have eyes out.
Okay.
And they could set up their own fire teams, positions, and machine guns, how they wanted their saws and ARs and stuff, and the best line of fires.
What about you, Watson?
I'd set up essentially just a hasty 180.
Okay. Just right on the dismount point? Oh, okay. I see.
Up there. Leave the one understrength fire team back as rear security and recon outward, maybe 100 meters.
Okay. Finley, could you remove all your markers?
Oh, yes, sir.
What about you, Scanlan? What do you got?
First, I'd put a call back up on platoon SAR, see if you can actually make it up here in the next wave. And if not, then send a call back up to cover and ask, is that buggy fixed so we could actually get everyone up here? And then I'd
good
set
call.
up.
I'll stop you right there. Just give you that information. You don't got radio comms with anybody. Carry on.
Okay. And set up 180 from the dismount point, push out a little bit. Oh, so it's going to be really clustered when everyone else gets here. And have 2 MGs that are attached looking out to this direction here. And the second looking out over here. And as others pointed out before, I'll push them out. Maybe 50 meters. Here, here. And for the third squad, I don't have 2 left out, so I have them here. And just get everyone with their swords set up.
Okay. While you guys are setting up security, those 2 special forces team basically just leave, heading that way. All you guys' plans were freaking solid. Here's what I did. I set up a triangle position right here. Put a machine gun at the point of each triangle, and basically waited for the company to get there. It took like 25 minutes. Well, it took like 25 minutes to get all of 2nd Platoon there and your guys back up. Once that happened, 2nd Platoon basically took over your position, said, hey, the company commander said this is going to take a long time. Just carry on with your mission. We've got the security now. We'll roll the security. Time is now like, I don't know, 0900. And at this point, I'll probably stop giving you time hacks because it doesn't necessarily mean anything anymore, just because we're not working towards a time goal. So if there's any point where you want to say, hey, I would like to call this guy on the radio and ask a question, or I would like to do this administratively, not necessarily like
User left your channel.
something that you can't represent with symbols and that kind of thing, or ask questions about what you can physically see, at any time, you guys can ask those questions.
Are the radios back working then once 2nd Platoon is in range?
Nope. You or 2nd Platoon have no comm with anybody.
But
Except
do we have
for the
comm
2
with each
Special
other?
Forces team. Yes, you have comm with each other.
Okay.
And you do have comm with the Special Forces teams. They return your radio checks.
Do we also have comms with the scout snipers?
No, we don't. The only people you have comms with is 2nd Platoon, which is standing right next to you, and the Special Forces teams, which just walked off to the north somewhere.
Copy.
Are there any comms assets back at the staging area that could possibly set up a retrans?
Negative. The entire company is deploying to the field. So what do you do from here? Let's start with Wesson, because I've only called on him once.
Is that me?
Yeah, Wesson.
Believe we got to make our movements west. Essentially
Okay.
throw it
Just
all
stick
into
to the same plan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're all going with the same plan, so
Yeah, that's no problem.
start marching your units west, possibly like an echelon unit or an echelon formation.
When you get to the edge of this tree line, you see that this whole area is very flat and very open. And same thing with all the way to the north. Like that entire clear cut area that you could see on the map or see on the sat map, like you can almost see all the way across it. It's completely flat. And there's only some trees. And also to the north, it looks like there's like waist high grass. Not shown in this sat map. Maybe a click, maybe 800 meters to the north.
Okay, probably
Do
send
we know?
out.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to change your idea, your plan. Just that's what you see.
Just bound by squads, essentially.
Okay.
Just to check, do we know what kind of area what's below this road is like? Is it still really just flat as everything above it, or?
Yeah, that entire clear cut, that if you can remember from the last one, the last map, that entire clear cut is like that. You can see up in north and south on it for like 800 to 1,000 meters. There's some minor terrain changes, so there's some spots that there's a lot of dead space in it, but for the most part, you can see completely across it. Drumheller, what do you do?
Since we're not, my original plan assumed that we were going to have second platoon and third platoon on our flanks while moving to the west, and that's no longer the case, which means that area is not going to be secure on our right flank as we're moving. I was going to move in a loose platoon wedge, but now I'm probably going to, at the very least, across the field, and we don't have comms back with companies, so we can't get any mortar smoke. Regardless of whether we actually need it or not. So probably do the same and bound across by squad, but using a staggered column instead for easier facing to the north in the open
Good
area.
idea. Good idea. Fenley, what about you?
Quick question: the second platoon, the elements that are there, do they have the 60 Mike team with them, or are they still? Oh, okay, Roger. Just making sure. Pretty much what the major said. Just try to get some elements to move across. First off, and provide some kind of security, or just have the individual squads bound while they have the machine guns bound with the individual squads and cover.
Okay. Donahue, what about you?
I can't think of anything different. Just quick question: is the ground dry or is it like muddy from?
It's dry.
Okay.
I mean, it's that clear cut area is pretty much grassland, and then you saw the picture of what the woods were like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's dry. As
Yeah,
dry
just
as the
the same
woods
plan.
get, rather. Okay. Scanlan?
I have nothing to add to what others have already said.
Okay. Well, here's what I did.
Oh.
I determined. Oh, go ahead.
There was one thing I wanted to go over. Oh, no, never mind. You said we do have comms with second platoon, which is next to us. I would probably talk to him anyways in case comms go out further. Can I assume that we have flares?
You have smoke grenades and hand grenades, and that's about it that you've got.
Okay. And we've already got our smoke set up in our op order for what different colors of smoke
and
are. Okay.
All you've got is white smoke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you've got it at like pretty much only the squad and team leaders have it.
All right. In that case, never mind.
Okay. Here's what I did. I determined that I didn't want to cross right in this area just because it was so open and I wanted to stay hidden for longer. So my idea was, hey, I'll push through these thick trees for another 300 or 400 meters and then cross when I'm a little bit closer to where my patrol base is. Because I couldn't see exactly what was on the other side of that open field because it dips. So what I did was I went from that security position and started pushing north. From this point onward, just because this is how I've got the TDG built, we're going to assume that everybody chose to go through the north and do what I did. You're moving in platoon column because the trees are a little bit thick and it's not that wide, especially with this opening on the right side.
User left your channel.
And you get to about there with your lead element and you take sniper fire. Scanlan, what do you do? Bang. Sniper shot. No casualties yet.
Pop smoke.
Bang. Okay. Pops, smokes out. One of the team leaders up front. All you hear is a bang every once in a while. Bang.
Get your MGs to start putting down suppressive fire forward to
Okay.
the north.
Your MGs are in column. Call for your MGs, and they start jogging up to the front of the column, but you're spread out over like 150 meters, 100 meters. So they're coming. Bang.
Radio
First
up
squad-
to scout snipers,
First squad
see if
starts
they can
returning
get.
fire. Just go ahead and keep going.
See if
Well,
scout.
as we get into contact here, you guys will see that I will probably be talking over you. Just keep talking, keep giving me your plan.
Okay, contact scout snipers, see if they have any idea where those snipers are.
Bang. All right, good to go. You call up and no comm with them. They don't answer. Bang. First squad's starting to just do an immediate action drill. They're getting online, starting to return fire, but it's like only a couple shots here and there. They're not exactly sure where this enemy is. Bang.
Send call up to second platoon, see if they've got
Bang.
eyes. Get them to start providing suppressive fire from their MGs from their position back at the dismount point and start
Bang.
peeling your squads back.
Hey, this is second platoon. I can basically see the rear of your last element, and I mean, just the way the terrain's moving and the thickness of the trees, I can't support you, and I've got to hold this point here. I can't maneuver over. Bang. Bang. Drumheller, take
I'm
over.
not quite sure what to do.
Pull back your
bang.
lead element.
Well, he said last order given was to start peeling rearwards. We're generally able to tell where the shots are coming from, right? The direction.
Yeah, they're pretty much close, 50 to 80 meters to the north, but pretty, I mean, you saw the picture of the woods. It would be pretty easy to hide. So you know they're close, 50 to 80 meters north. Bang. You're peeling back. Unless you want to cancel that order.
Yeah, I'll cancel that order.
Okay.
I'll keep the squad that's suppressing, the MGs suppressing, and I'll get second squad to flank left and start pushing up and seeing if they can get an angle on the shooter or shooters.
Okay. Frickin' first squad is online trying to suppress. The machine guns just got up there, and they don't really have a target. You hear a couple bursts from the machine guns, but they don't know what to shoot at, so they're not really engaging. Second squad starts moving on that flank. The platoon sergeant comes up with the machine guns to help make sure the machine guns are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Second squad starts flanking. That sniper's still engaging. Bang. Bang. Second squad still moving. Bang. No casualties still. Bang.
We know how close rounds are actually landing to us.
They're snapping and cracking. That's about all you know. Bang. Second squad is starting to get out on that flank. It's slow going due to the thickness of vegetation. Bang. Third squad's just kind of pulling rear security right now. Bang. Bang. Hey, Drifter 1, this is Drifter 1-1. We're out on the left flank. You need us to push now?
Yeah, affirmative.
Roger that, pushing. Second squad start pushing. Bang. Snipers see them. You see a couple guys stand up and start booking it freaking hardcore over to this way towards the open field. Freaking machine guns light up, drop one of the snipers. Another sniper dives into the ground right on the edge of this clearing. No return fire yet. Second squad's in pursuit, but now the machine guns of first squad can't really see that guy that dove underneath a tree. They're putting rounds in that area. Just to
Tell second squad to try and secure the position that they're at. So we're basically on a line facing in these directions, and have third squad push out to the edge of the tree line and start pushing up towards.
Roger that. Second squad holds, keeps on line. Third squad pulls out of rear security and starts moving this way and moves along the tree line and assaults through the sniper, kills the last sniper. Third squad consolidates on that sniper's position. The dead sniper is like 10 meters away from the second dead sniper. Donahue, you're in charge now.
Alright, I call third squad, tell them to check out the bodies, see if they have any intel on them, any identifying stuff, see if they're rebel or the insurgency or Russian troops.
Roger that. Third squad starts searching the bodies. They call back on the radio, said, hey, I've got a couple maps over here, but they're blank.
Okay. Radio check with the Special Forces team, make sure they're still in comms.
Hey, Drifter 1, this is Ironclad. I read you loud and clear, over.
Ask them if they see anything.
Negative, Drifter 1. We're still just moving on mission, over.
Pull a third squad back into the tree line and begin progressing north again in the trees as per our original plan. Or your original plan.
How are you moving?
Staggered column north in the tree line.
Okay, so you're looking like that. I need to change my color. This whole brown black shit is not working. Okay, you're in column like that.
Moving to
So,
the.
What Drum did, just stand by. What Drum did is pretty much exactly what actually happened. We took sniper fire close. We couldn't really identify that. Machine guns, and I think I had third squad and machine guns move up online with first squad, and basically try to suppress. And then once they were set, first and second squad together got up and maneuvered, and they basically flushed the snipers out just how I described and fucking killed them. We searched their bodies. We didn't find any intel. They just had blank maps. And then I did exactly what you did, consolidated it up. We ended up taking one walking wounded. He's good to go. He's mission capable. And we formed back into a column. So go ahead and carry us out. What are we doing?
I'll have us move up to Now Road. And so there I'll have the squads bound across the road one at a time.
Right.
Once we're across, we'll do the same thing on that smaller dirt road just to the left of it right here.
All right, hold on. You get to like right here, and this is what you see. Everybody tracking on the picture? Did it load okay for everyone?
Yep.
Great. This is what you see. Terrain starts getting thicker. That's about it. Everybody good with this picture?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the terrain starts getting thicker, but you keep moving.
Can I assume that terrain is the same right over here as well?
You haven't gotten there yet. So that's where you're moving generally towards. You get to like...
User left your channel.
There. I guess the platoon is more like that. And this is what you see. It gets even thicker. Picture load okay for everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
Cool. Now it's getting thick as fuck. Everybody good with this picture?
Done.
Yeah.
So you keep pushing a little bit more, maybe another 10, 15 meters from where I showed you that picture. And you're up with second squad, in between first and second squads. We're freaking a tight fucking column now because how thick this is getting. Or maybe 75 meters long. Platoon sergeant's in the rear with third and weapon squad.
We're supposed to be, like, when you call on someone, is it just them for the time
Yeah,
being?
just
Okay.
them for the time being. You get to about there and you hear some whispering up front.
User in your channel
Not
is
from your
recording.
guys. It's really hard to tell exactly where it's coming from, but it's coming from the front of your formation, in front of your formation. Can't see anything. Take a few more steps. Platoon keeps walking real slow. At that point, man, throws up a freeze symbol. Everybody freezes. You move up to the point man, and he points up, and you can barely see a freaking Russian camouflage, like 30 meters in front of the platoon. Can't tell if they see you, and you only see one dude. What are you doing?
This is still me.
Yep, still you.
Alright, and the first squad is at the point.
First squad's on point, immediately followed by second. weapons 3rd, and you are generally
User
up in the
left your
middle-ish of 1st squad right now. And that bad guy is like 30 meters away in thick fucking vegetation. Right now, your dispersion is like maybe 3 to 5 meters, maybe, between each of your soldiers.
I got 1st squad to form a line. We begin to surround the camo.
3rd squad, you said?
Sorry, 1st squad.
Okay.
And as I do that, I also bring the MG team up so they can provide suppressive fire on that target when they begin to move in.
Okay.
And I also have 2nd squad move around towards the right and try and flank around. And don't engage until they're in position.
Okay.
Once in position, I have them move in and call out the guys in there, tell them to surrender. I tell them they're surrounded.
Okay. What about you, Finley? Same situation. What are you doing?
Pretty much like you said, just get everyone online, spread out as best as we can. I know it's thick vegetation and there's not a lot of place to go because of the shortness of the trees on each side, but you want to spread out as much as possible, get everyone online.
Okay, so he had 1st squad and weapon squad get online, and then 2nd squad started maneuvering. Do you want to get the entire platoon online?
Yeah, I want to try to get the entire
Okay.
platoon online, get 2nd on the left, 3rd on the right, and weapons intermingled in between. And then we
Okay.
can start pushing forward in like a platoon wedge.
Okay. Drumheller, what do you do?
At this point, I don't think I'd make any changes.
Okay, you just get everybody online and start pushing in.
Yeah, same sort of flanking maneuver as last time.
Okay, so you'll do more what who did I call on first? Was it Donahue?
Yes.
Okay, so you do what Donahue does and basically build a support by fire element, then have another squad start maneuvering. Same thing that you did with the snipers.
Exactly.
Okay. Who am I missing? I saw Watson had to bail. Scanlan, you? What are you gonna do?
3rd squad flank. Whilst they have 1st squad going line. And then
Okay, so
have
1st squad's
closing.
online. 3rd squad's flanking. Which way is 3rd squad flanking?
I'll have them flank left. Because if I flank them
Okay.
right, they're going to go onto that road.
Okay. Anybody else that I forgot?
Oh, I did want to specify one thing.
Mhm.
I would not be calling out to give them an opportunity to surrender once everyone's lined up and
You'd
ready
just
to
be
go.
pushing through.
Yeah.
Killing at the rapid. You got it. Since Wasson had to bail, is there anybody in the channel that would like to take his spot? Put an R if you would like to. Okay, we'll just go with one less. Okay, never mind, Dennis. You can start filling and I'll start asking you questions. Dennis, what would you do?
I was AFK for like the entire beginning of this. What's the mission? What's going on? What do I have?
Oh my god, you kill me. Okay, so you've got
Hey, I had a job interview, asshole.
You've got a rifle platoon, 3 rifle squads, each is about 10 dudes, and a machine gun squad. The machine gun squad is 3 guns, each with 2-man teams. Your mission is like 2 kilometers from what's happening right now to the northwest is your AO. And that AO, your mission is to conduct reconnaissance and find out the disposition of Russian forces, the strength of Russian forces, and find out if the Russian forces are working with an insurgency in the area. The company has 81mm mortars and 60mm mortars. If you want to use them,
User
you have to call
disconnected from your
back to the
channel.
company and get and basically send your fire mission through the company headquarters.
We don't currently have comms with company.
Correct. We don't have comms with anybody except for 2nd platoon and 2 special forces squads, which are at this point somewhere to our north, and they're not on the same mission as us, and we were not there for their briefing. We don't know what they're doing. Second platoon is to our south in a security position, holding a position for the rest of the company to come in. The company's coming in 1 7-ton each freaking load, and it's taking them forever. Still don't have comms with them. Did I leave anything huge out? Anybody in the channel?
We've moved from here up this way, and we're right here right now. We engaged and killed a 2-man sniper team. Where was it? About right here.
Yeah, about there.
And we've just come up through extremely thick vegetation and come up on a group of guys that were whispering to each other, unknown how large it is. And the platoon was in a column while moving there. Right now, everyone has their guys on a line with. Does anyone have 2 squads? I think everyone has the 3rd squad flanking in one direction or the other on those guys. I think that's about it.
Yep,
Alright.
that's pretty much what's going on.
Yep, I don't think I'd change anything as the way they have it already at the moment.
Cool.
Did we ever get third squad reinforced with the extra fire team?
Yes, that fire team got there when second platoon got there, as well
Okay.
as your platoon sergeant. All right, don't click on this link as soon as I post it. I want you to click on that link when I tell you to, and watch until the 7-minute mark. It should start at like 5:48, I believe. Everybody understand?
Yes.
All right, you can click it and start listening. Hit D in chat when you're done watching at the 7-minute. And I did the exact same thing that you guys are talking about. I got first and second squads online, and I used the machine guns and 3rd squad as a maneuver element.
Are you weapons squad leader? No, I'm a team leader.
This is the perspective of the medic, and the guy that's giving orders is your platoon sergeant.
Without getting super bunched up, but we still want to maintain as much vegetation as possible. Yeah. You don't have any signals? Okay. Yeah, if you want to switch and put him up there. Listen. Hey, get up through there. Bravo, let's go. 1-6 is 1-3, Bravo.
User left your channel.
Bravo, go. All right. Hey, weapon.
Said watch till 7 minutes.
Correct. Anybody still watching? Great. So that's what happened. You first and second squad got online, and basically your 3rd and weapons. We'll just go with what I did. 3rd and weapons started trying to maneuver, and as soon as they started getting ready to maneuver, bang, 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 freaking Russians engaged. That was enemy fire that was incoming on 1st and 2nd squad that you saw from this perspective. You are up with first and second squad. You are not wounded. But first and second squads, just from the first few seconds that you can see what your eyeballs are telling you, you got 50% casualties in both first and second squad. The way that casualties work right now is you have to get them some form of buddy aid before they're able to be moved. Once they get some buddy aid, they're able to fight a little bit more and they can move on their own. And if they take more wounds after that, they've got to see the medic. So you've got 50% casualties in first and second squad. You're up with first and second squad. Rounds are incoming. Your freaking faces in the mud, and you're in the prone. Everybody's in the prone, and people are screaming, hit, I'm fucking hit, get me a medic, that kind of shit. Fucking rounds are still flying. What do you do? We'll start with Fenley. Bang, 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 bang. Fucking machine guns and saws incoming. Bang, 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 bang.
We need to get
Bang,
everyone
bang.
online as quickly as possible, into position.
Bang, bang, bang.
Continue
First and second
advance.
squad are already online. There's half dead.
Roger that. Again, just start returning fire. Just suppressing fire as much as possible. Get third to
Everybody's
come
returning fire
around.
in first and second squad. A couple guys are trying to give buddy aid, but the enemy fire is not slacking at all. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Another casualty right next to you.
First and second squad are on the flank, correct?
Third, if you look at the map, so the enemy is at that little red line from what you can tell. You are like that, and your maneuver element was just getting ready over here. So bang, 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 bang.
They need to get the maneuver element moving as quickly as possible now to come in.
Roger, you're screaming at the platoon sergeant screaming back at you. You're able to communicate. He's trying to get them moving. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, bang. RTO just got hit.
Get a few frag grenades out from first and second squad, maybe two
Start
from
throwing
each
smoke
side,
everywhere.
from each squad.
Let's just go with Fenley right now.
Get smoke out as quickly as possible. They need to
Roger that.
get some cover in between.
You start popping smoke. You personally are popping smoke at this point. Your team leaders and squad leaders and guys that are looting freaking bodies of your team leaders and squad leaders who are wounded, they're popping smoke. They're getting some smoke in between. Freaking bang, 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 bang. Platoon sergeant screams, hey, we're in contact now too. They make contact while trying to maneuver right there. Bang, 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 bang. You can hear enemy and friendly incoming and outgoing fire off to your right. And you're still taking fire and contact to the front. You're like still trying to get a picture of how many casualties you have, but you still believe it's about 50%. A lot of your guys are doing buddy aid and working on friendlies. They're down, but you're still taking casualties as well. So you're maintaining about 50% casualties in first and second squad.
Matter, need to get the medic over them. Priority on that. Call up second platoon to see what they're doing if they can't come up with support at this time. See if they've got there some up.
You start screaming at platoon sergeant, get me the medic. Platoon sergeant says, I can't move him to you right now. You get on the hooks. Freaking, hey, second platoon, this is first platoon. We're in contact. Over. Nothing. You don't got second platoon on comms. They don't respond. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang.
All right, we need
Drumheller on you. Bang, 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 bang.
Smoke. 203s.
Smoke's out.
Get
203s aren't activating. It's too close. You're talking 25, 30 meters.
Oh, okay. Get the maneuver element to start peeling back to the left, and assist and start peeling the whole platoon left.
Roger that. Your platoon sergeant comes out and he gets about 10, 15 meters away from you, trying to make contact and get communication with you. And he says, hey, we're stalled on the right side. We're not able to move very well. How are you doing? You tell him, frickin', I'm at 50% casualties. We're pinned down. We can't maneuver. He tells you, roger that. You tell him, move you guys to the left if you can. We'll start trying to peel the platoon back. He says, I can't maneuver right
now. Try to get comms with any element.
You get on the comms and frickin' the special forces teams radio you back and say, I lead you loud and clear. I've got 3 POWs. I can't help you right now.
Do they have comms with company from their location?
They check. 2 minutes goes by. You're taking casualties, waiting for them to get back to you. So while you're waiting for that answer, Bang, 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 bang. Still take casualties. Platoon starts yelling, enemy fire team to our rear. Now you've got an enemy fire team over here. Bang, 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 bang. First and second squads still 50% casualties. You have no idea how third and weapons are doing. Freaking special forces team gets back to you. I got no comms with company. Bang,
Third
bang,
and weapons
bang.
are still not able to move.
Third and weapons can't move. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Donahue, it's your.
Alright, get first squad to turn around and get cover to our rear. Take out that enemy fire team. In terms of enemy positions, is it only the original camo netting area that we saw and the fire team behind us, or is there an unknown element towards the northeast?
It was not a camo netting. It was just like some Russian fatigues, like you could see somebody's leg or something like that. And no, you have not taken contact over there to the left, but you can't really move that direction just because, like, you can't move pretty much anywhere but to the rear because you just open yourself up. And even to the rear, you can, I mean, you're going to get shot at if you start to move. But you're also already being shot at, so bang, 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 bang.
So they get third squad and weapons. They get suppressive fire on the area to the front. As
All right,
first
you're
and
yelling
second.
at your platoon sergeant, and platoon says, "Freaking, I'm doing the best I can. We're engaged on our front. And now we're engaged in our rear. We're in a shitty fucking position. Oh, I'm doing what I can. You're still under fire."
They get a couple frags out in that position. They get first and second squad, the guys who are up, to get back and take out the fire team to the rear.
Guys are throwing frags to the front. You've got like 2 fire teams that are not wounded right now between first and second squads. But also remember, an army squad is only 2 fire teams. So you're still taking fire.
And so can get first and second squad, whoever's up, to get back to that fire team, take out the fire team to our rear, while third squad and the MG teams are suppressing the contacts to our front.
Roger that. You grab what guys you can and start trying to pull back with first and second squad. You take another like 15% casualties, like 3 or 4 more guys go down while you're doing this, and you're not able to break contact, but you are able to move to the rear. So now your line is more like that, as opposed to the initial position. That enemy fire slacks a little bit from the front, just as you start to distance yourself in this heavy, thick terrain. You got guys that are dragging other guys at this point, and you're getting close. So far, that enemy fire team to the rear, you can't see them. You only know that freaking platoon sergeant reported them to the rear, but you can still hear third and fourth squad like 60 meters away, slugging it out. They're under fire still. Bang, bang. Bang, bang,
Get
bang.
the MG teams to continue suppressing to the front, get third squad to pull back and help us take out that fire team.
Platoon sergeant yells, "I can't move third squad or these guns are going to get overrun."
I continue that same plan, having the first and second hunt for the fire team to the rear, while third squad and the MG team suppresses front.
Dennis, it's your fight now. What are you doing?
Alright, I got the third squad machine gun team base in front. You said first and second squads, they got about 2 teams left amongst themselves.
Yeah, that are actually able to move and maneuver, and they're trying to carry wounded as they go.
Trying to carry wounded as they go. Okay. Well, I'd have.
Bang, 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 bang. Still taking.
Are we in
fire.
contact? Are we taking?
First and
fire
second
from
squad
the
is taking
rear?
intermittent fire from the front. Third and fourth squad, you can hear in heavy contact to your right. You cannot see any enemies to your rear. You just know that they were reported back there. Bang, 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 bang.
Well, if they're just reported, we don't really specifically know they're there. We're just going to assume they're there. So we're just going to keep moving back and slightly to the right to get behind third squad. See if they're there, we'll just fuck them up with a maneuver team, because if it's only a team, it should not be that big of a deal unless they get a drop on us like the guys in the front did.
All right, you start
So
trying to maneuver, and while you're trying to get your guys moving, it's slow going because you have so many wounded and it's so thick vegetation. Frickin' the platoon sergeant comes running from your right, and he's got a team with him and all the machine guns, and he's calling for them that the frickin' now third and fourth squad are in a full-on assault to the rear, assaulting a small hill that you see right in front of you. You don't see what they're assaulting. Fire is slacking on the right side. Enemy incoming and outgoing fire that you had been hearing from where third and fourth was is now slowing significantly down. You're still taking a little bit of fire from where you had just tried to back off from. You still don't see that enemy fire team. What are you doing?
Still mine?
He's still pulling back, straight back, basically, back into the right, the direction
No, I was
that.
saying, is it still my turn?
Yeah, it's still you.
Okay, so you said we had a squad moving up towards a hill. What direction is that?
Towards where that fire team is. They're assaulting the location that fire team to the rear is.
So up there?
Yep.
They're heading that direction.
Yep.
All
And
right,
it's
well,
a small, maybe 5-meter rise.
All right, well, we'll keep them pushing that way while third and fourth squad continue to suppress to the front.
Third and fourth squad are fucking buddy rushing. They're in full-on assault in that direction now.
Front to the front or to the rear?
To the rear, towards that way.
So we have the whole platoon moving backwards now.
Yep.
All right, we'll keep moving backwards.
All right, as you're moving backwards, you see a couple dudes up front at the top of the hill, the direction the enemies, or the direction that third and fourth are assaulting.
Enemy guys?
Yeah, like you can see 2 enemy dudes up there.
Kill them.
All right, you're attacking by fire. You stop advancing and you start shooting. Bang, bang, bang. They see you and they start panicking. Basically, you now have a support by fire and a maneuver element, with third and fourth being your maneuver element. Third and fourth gets to the top of the hill and fucking runs over this fire team that's up there. Third and fourth gets to the top of the hill, and you see your basic platoon starting to wave you up. What do you do?
Oh, we're still receiving
User in your
intermittent
channel timed
fire
out.
from the north, correct?
Correct, and it has been like 2 minutes now since you tried to break contact.
All right. Well, since we're moving like that, we'll bound up with first and second squad to the other side of that hill into a defilade, while we move third and fourth squad around
Okay.
like that, and then so basically they'd be displacing and coming out somewhere where the enemy would probably not expect it.
Okay. Same rules for this link. Don't click it immediately.
User entered your channel.
You start advancing up that hill. Everybody's clear to click that link and just watch it till the end. It's only like 30 seconds, and that's basically what you see in the situation you find yourself in as you go up that hill.
Give it to BB. Fucking thorn in my boot like a fucking tree. Your name's Garrett, right? Yeah. Alright. One, you Garrett.
Just say till 21:30.
God, do it till the end.
Oh.
Yeah. There's more coming. I don't have any more water.
Hit an E in chat when you're done
Nope.
watching.
Yeah. It's a 1-1 slot though.
All right.
User disconnected from your channel.
So when you get to that top of the hill, you are no longer in contact. You don't have any incoming fire. As you're trying to assess the situation, as you see in that video, you crest the hill, it opens up. So it's thick as you go up the hill, thick at the base of the hill, but the top of the hill is freaking pretty clear and pretty open. Your position is now actually right on the edge of this clearing. Right there. You get into a 360 and start treating casualties. Almost immediately, your medic runs out of medical supplies. After the medic is out of medical supplies and he's treated everybody, you've got about 30% casualties left that you can't treat. You're out of medical supplies. Of the 70% that are still standing, about half of them are walking wounded. So they have to get medical support from the medic if they take any more wounds. So they're already hurt. What are we doing? Still with Dennis, what are you doing now that you're in a 360 at the top of this hill?
We're going to try to get comms with 2nd Platoon again. See if they can't get a corpsman or a medic up there towards us. And if not, we'll send, if we can't get in contact
You try
with
to
them,
get a
we'll,
hold of 2nd Platoon, you call them on the radio, nothing. Try them again, nothing. Try them again, nothing. Try on the 4th time, and 2nd Platoon doesn't answer. The SAS Special Forces team answers you and says, hey, 1st Platoon, do you know where Company HQ is? I've got 3 POWs that I've got to get rid of.
reply to them, no, not at this time.
You tell him no, and he asks, what do you think I should do with these POWs?
Take them back to the drop-off point.
He's
Because
like,
that was the...
he
What?
says, okay, I'll do my best. I'm like 2 kilometers away from that. Any other ideas?
So they're way up there to the north.
Yep, they're pretty far north. And again, you were never even briefed on his mission. You have no idea what he's doing.
All right. Well, we're having that conversation. I have the platoon sergeant get a team and start heading back towards the drop-off location or the insert location to go find 2nd Platoon and see if they're there. And
Okay, you
get
start
corpsman support.
organizing that. Start organizing that, and you finally get Company HQ on the radio. They tell you that they're decisively engaged a click south of the drop-off point.
Click south of the drop-off.
And that you're on your own. They've got no support for you at this time.
And our mission is still to go north and perform a reconnaissance, correct?
You have not gotten any clarifying instructions. They basically, you called, hey, Drifter 6, this is Drifter 1. Hey, silence. Drifter 6, this is Drifter 1. Silence. Drifter 6, this is Drifter 1. Hey, Drifter 1, I am decisively engaged. I cannot help you at this time. Out. That's pretty much what you got out of him. You get your platoon start getting a team ready. He's getting a team ready, trying to take account of who has the least amount of injuries.
All right.
All of a sudden, enemy contact to your due north, right there, at least squad size. Your platoon starts fighting.
Basically, they've moved up on.
Yep, they've moved up on you. They're, I mean, it's fairly thick. Did you see the? Here, I'll just put it up again. You saw the picture of the from the video as well, and this is generally the area in and around the slope of the hill.
Okay.
So it's not quite as thick as where you first made contact, but it's still pretty freaking thick.
And we still have the Special Forces team up north still waiting on an answer.
Yep, they're still trying to. They had asked you what you think they should do with the POWs, and that they're trying to get to a drop-off point. Want to know if you've got any other ideas. While this is going on, you take contact to the north from at least an enemy squad. And
User left
also,
your channel.
your luck was fucking lucky as shit. Your entire machine gun squad is no wounds, is not injured at all.
All right. Well, I would relay the
And
fact
everybody
that,
is already into a 360.
all right. Well, I would relay the fact that Company HQ is decisively engaged and that we can't really help them up there at the moment with their POW situation.
They say, Roger that. Donahue, it's on you now. It's your show. Bang, bang, bang. That contact to the north is getting a little bit heavier. What's going on?
All right, I
What
got
are you
my
doing?
2 of the 3 MG guns to the front of the hill, or the northern side of the hill, and then get a team and the other MG squad to pull on the rear to the south of the hill and try and go flank left of that fire coming from the north.
Okay. They start organizing. Also, that dot that I just placed is where your CCP is inside that perimeter.
And we're still looking at like 30% casualties. That can't work.
Yep. Still looking at about 30% casualties. Your machine gun squad is fully mission capable. They have no casualties. And your platoon sergeant grabs those 2 guns that you wanted, starts moving to the north, reinforce the north. He starts fighting the fight up to the north.
And I
On
just
that
have
north
one
side of the perimeter.
squad running down to check with second platoon.
They did not
Or
leave
one.
because that enemy contact happened. So if you still want to punch them out, you can, but they have not left yet.
Can I just send one guy as a runner down there?
You could.
Or 1 or 2
I
guys?
would say as a learning point, I will never ever send one person anywhere. And another point that I personally would do, I would probably not send a small element with the amount of contact we've had in this area recently.
Small element for flanking or small element to link up with
Small
second?
element to go try to find somebody in the woods.
Alright, so I'll radio in company, see if I can get any artillery support with the mortar section.
Company HQ does not respond.
Alright, keep phoning them in, and if they don't respond, see if I can get in contact with the scout snipers.
They do not respond either, and the fighting to the north gets heavier.
Alright, pull off some elements, a few guys off from each team, and keep them to the north as well. And check up on the stat. Does that mean that this team that I sent to flank around is still on the hill, or are they still moving?
They're still on the hill. They weren't actually able to get out.
I will hold that point for now.
Roger. The enemy starts pushing along this way a little bit. So now that front looks like pretty much how it's depicted.
User in your channel timed
And you're
out.
still holding the 360 with the northern being the heavy end. Drumheller, your turn.
I'm gonna get back on comms with the SAS team and ask them if they. I'm gonna give them a quick idea of where I am and ask them if that's the way they went up north.
They come back and say, yeah, we kind of went through that area. I'm not exactly sure where you are right now, but based on your grid coordinate, I'm still a click and a half to your north. I'm not exactly sure what where you're at.
All right, and the MG squad is online on the northern side of the hill, watching downslope, returning fire.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, over your time, over probably the next 10 minutes, you beat back this attack. They stop coming. But you are down a machine gun team now. So you only have 2 machine gun teams left. And you're about 60% casualties now. It hurt a lot. This has been about 10 minutes now over the course of this fight. What are you doing?
we'll dispatch 2 fire teams and 1 of the machine gun teams along with the platoon sergeant to try and go south and find.
Bang, 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 bang. Enemy fire team is rushing across this open field now to the south.
All right, we had 3 in the open field.
Right along the tree line in the open. Just freaking sprinting, trying to catch you by surprise.
Get as many guys as should already be there engaging, and additionally break off one of the MG teams from the north and have them move south along with the other MG team that was already being given move orders.
That freaking fire team gets cut down because of your guys that are already on security on that side. Your other machine gun team starts moving down, and you start taking pretty heavy contact here now. You're at 60% casualties. You got like 15, 16 guys still standing, 2 machine guns, and this is at least a squad reinforced pushing you right now, maybe more. You can't really tell.
Gonna push one of the machine gun teams back up north along with one of the squad. Now, their casualties, does that mean they're down, unable to move, unable to shoot?
Correct. They're freaking
Okay,
down
so I've only
hard,
got
and you're
15 or
out of medical
16
supplies. Yep.
I'll send
And
one
you've
of the
got about 20, 25 guys in your CCP.
send one of the MG teams back up north to watch and get pretty much everyone else that's up online to return fire, and also try to contact the company again.
Roger that. You're trying company. Your guys start moving. This turns out to be even heavier. It's at least 2 squads trying to push into you now from this side. You reinforce that south side like you were talking about with just a machine gun to the north. But you're taking some pretty bad casualties on the south side. Your RTO is dead. And you finally get comms with company, but it's broken. They're pushing in. They're about 30 meters out from your position.
Relay to company, assuming they can hear the situation and request fire, give the grid how many rounds I want.
Roger that. While you're doing that, Fenley, it's on you now. You call in this fire mission hoping that it goes through. Company, you don't know if they got it or not. And while this is going, your platoon sergeant runs past you, grabs like 3 guys off the line, and tells them to follow me. And he basically charges into this enemy attack. And there's a small berm that he's able to find that he comes out almost freaking on the into the opening, comes up, and you see him and like 2 or 3 other guys like go up and over this berm, and you lose sight of them, and then you hear a bunch of grenades start going off. You've got about 10 guys effective left. Your other machine gun is down. Your other machine gun is down, and the one to the north is your only machine gun left.
Pulling the CCP as much as possible, get the machine gunners bear on as quickly as possible down into the attacking force to the south.
Right, that you pull your other machine gun down to the south. They're now on the south side. And then your entire force, you got like 9 dudes on the south side, and you're that 10th man basically sitting in the middle of the CCP, in the middle of what used to be your perimeter, with a radio in front of you, hiding behind a tree, trying to fight your platoon into a good position. What are you doing?
Basically going into a last stand at this point. Trying to get as many grenades, smokes, suppressive fires down as much
Out
as
of smoke,
possible.
out of grenades.
Suppressive fire as much as possible.
Company comes up on comms. This is Gambler 1, this is Gambler 6, send your traffic over.
Immediately calling for a fire mission on the direct coordinates to the south. Much HE as I can. Danger close.
Roger that, Gambler 6. This is Gambler 1. I am being overrun. Immediate suppression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Danger close, over. Solid copy, Gambler 1. Stand by. 30 seconds go by. Shot over. Shot out. Splash over. Fucking rounds impacting in the middle of the enemy assault. What do you do?
Continue to lay into them and continue to direct fire just as much as possible. Call another one. Get a creep across from the creeping barrage from the west to east, and then drop in a smoke layer right in behind that to allow you to have some short time to get yourself reorganized while those rounds finish them up.
While the rounds are coming in, pretty much that second impact, the enemy fire almost completely slacks off. I mean, it's not quite being broken contact, but the fire is significantly less now. You start getting on comms, calling repeat on that fire mission, and start adjusting a little bit. And freaking after another 30 seconds, minute, there's no more enemy fire at all.
How to get ourselves organized, get everyone
You got 6 guys left, including yourself. No
User
machine
joined
gun
your
teams.
channel.
Alright, any walking wounded?
Almost everybody is walking wounded.
Roger that. I guess
You
push
actually
down.
are the only person that is not walking wounded.
I guess push down to where we last saw the platoon sergeant and those 3 other guys, see if they're still up, and then try to make a movement back to the staging point.
Gambler 1, this is Gambler 6. What's your situation, over?
Gambler 6, Gambler 1, currently surround. Last position is neutralized this time. No any more further enemy contact. We're gonna begin movement back. We're currently 7 effective.
Good copy. Myself and 3rd platoon are coming down the road. We'll be at your position in about 4 mics. How copy, over?
Roger that. I guess we'll hold position for the time being until they get there, but do send out a couple, like 2 or 3 guys to go see what happened to the platoon sergeant.
2 guys walk out to where you saw that platoon sergeant and the fire team minus go over the berm. They're all dead on the other side of the berm.
Roger, pull them back in, get a 360, and hold as best we can, redistribute ammunition.
User left your channel.
Roger that. You start
User
redistributing
left your
ammunition and
channel.
stuff, and the friendly platoon and company HQ walks down the middle of this freaking road. No enemies even take a shot at them, and then they come into your perimeter and take over your perimeter. And you start getting medical resupplies. Now, for this exercise, this TDG, that's index. I mean, actually executed-wise, we carried on mission for like another 8 hours after that. But we'll just call this here, because that was my personal learning experience up to this point that I felt I got a lot out of. So what did you guys think about this whole format? Well, was it helpful? Was it a good learning experience? Was it fun, or was it only fun? I mean, was it a decent learning experience for you at all?
Right.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah, definitely all of the above.
What about you guys that weren't necessarily participating? Did you guys still get something out of it?
Yeah, definitely.
Start with Fenley. What did you learn out of the entire experience? Give me one thing that you learned.
Honestly, there's a lot of situations where even in the 15th that we expect we can walk into, we know we can pretty much punch out of, we can work our way out of it. But this was kind of a scenario you're going to walk in and you're going to get clubbed in the face. You're not expecting it. You're trying to maneuver as best as you can, but you get surrounded, cut off. It's just how you're going to get out of it. There's big cluster that you're basically trying to work yourself out of. And I mean, it kind of went from, okay, we have this great plan. We have the entire company moving up through here. We're just going to basically go through clear and see just to make sure. This is not even, we're not even expecting to have all this amount of contact or anything, like maybe a couple fire teams or some little patrols. And instead, it turns out to be a full-blown, we run into like 2 platoons that almost come in, surround us, cut us off. I mean, there's like almost no way to get out. Our comms are crap. We got no one on coming. We got no reinforcements, nothing. Completely cut off, surrounded. So it's kind of a question of, I guess, how are you gonna make the best out of the situation you got, get as many guys out alive, and get to somewhere that's safe before people realize that, hey, first platoon's completely cut off, screwed, and surrounded at this point. We need to get up there and reinforce them. So it was just the whole. I'm guessing kind of the point of it was to see how you would react to a losing situation, and not panic. Just start throwing guys here and there, kind of wasting your assets as it would go, because it's very thick underbrush and everything. It's hard to maneuver. There's nowhere really to go. You're getting surrounded constantly. So it's just how you're going to work it out through minute planning, maneuver your platoon to try to get them back to his position or get them alive.
Yeah, definitely. Drumheller, what did you take away from it?
That I wish situations like this would apply in game.
Yeah, I wish the AI were good enough to challenge us like this. Yeah. Dennis, did you get anything out of it? You were gone for the first half of it.
Yeah, I was. I don't know. it just makes me think a lot about a similar situation I was in when I was leading a entire task force in an airsoft thing about a year ago, and it gives me ideas on how that could apply to another one of these clinic things that we should do next time.
Captain Wagon, did you get anything out of it? I know you weren't participating.
Oh, believe me, I was participating. First, I'm gonna make an admission. It was so immersive for me, even to hear these guys contribute, and as you by turn, that it actually, my heart rate, kind of get up there a little bit. I was really into this. That's one. But little snippets of what I'd like to throw in here is when you come upon terrain like that, and especially foreign terrain where the insurgent and/or the resident army is more familiar with the terrain than you are, I don't know. From the outset, my antennas went up, and I'm not sure I would have shoved my guys into that thick of a brush and expect a fair fight. The hint started when you came upon that little encampment where you could hear whispers, which means that guys were close enough to your advance that they must have heard you coming. Before you heard whispers, you had a bunch of guys trekking through the woods in a column formation. They must have been cracking twigs and making a noise in that approach. So in my mind, you guys were approaching an ambush to begin with. In any case, you overcame that little scenario, and then after that, it was just this controlled chaos. Especially lesson for me in particular, to be able to calm the situation down and think objectively, or try to think rationally, and it's not easy, obviously. And then finally, when we pushed back on that mound, I would have immediately, besides setting up the 360, be prepared to, at that point, defend a fixed location, either waiting on aid, but like you said, not pushing out small teams, not knowing what else was waiting out there for these small teams of mine, and keep crying for help. Earlier, I had put in a question in the chat if we were allowed to, ask a question just to kind of even set the scenarios some more. When you at first started the firefight, you didn't kind of give any indication of how much separation there was between the incoming fire and your present location. And at that point, I was considering that desperate call for mortar fire. But over the course of the participants chiming in, I realized, number one, you still didn't have comms with HQ. So the mortars were not available. So it developed as it is, as it was, and these guys did the best they could to survive the situation. And here we are at Index, and I'm out of breath.
I do have another question / comment.
Yeah.
The decisions that people made before us, would we have been able to change them once it flipped back around to our turn, or every time that it flipped back around to our turn?
I was designing this to basically mirror what I did, just because I can guide the discussion the best about it, and I felt like I made probably the best tactical decisions that I could have in that situation. Like what we just went through from start to beginning was pretty much what I did, boots on the ground. I just worked people until they, like, once we actually started fighting, I worked people until they gave me an answer that I actually did, and then I progressed us. So this was a little bit different of a TDG than what you can necessarily do. In a different one where I wasn't trying to do a actual specific situation. Yeah, I definitely would have had you be able to change things. But once the major firefight got underway, I kind of led the decisions. And a lot of people were saying stuff like, let's maneuver left, maneuver right with first and second squads. And basically, like those things were tried, and people couldn't move. So your guys' thought process is exactly the same thought process I went through. Is there anything in specific that you wanted to change?
The dispersion
User
of
left your
the
channel.
platoon before in the really thick vegetation before hearing the voices. Because once the vegetation got that thick, I would have switched from a column, depending on if I could or not, and possibly gotten one of the squads on each tree line and the third one maybe on a line going north. And
I think
don't
you
know.
probably could have done that, but it would have been really, really difficult to do. And because it was so thick, I think command and control would have been very, very difficult to maintain the formation.
Yeah, it depends, because it's hard to do it seeing this when what we usually do is in game and we can see exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And we've never been in. I don't think any mission we've ever played we've been in terrain as thick as this mission, this exercise had, which I don't like. I like thick terrain because I think it's realistic, and Arma doesn't really provide that.
There are a couple of maps.
I know Cell 2 is one that had some pretty thick forests.
I think that's the one that I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I actually really like that map. I really hope they come up with a good port of that to Arma 3 because I'd like to use it, but that's neither here nor there. What about anybody else out there? Donahue, did I hear from you? Did I get anything that you got out of this?
Just think earlier on if we had made some type of contingency plan with 2nd Platoon in the event that we take contact and lose comms, like what they could have done differently or how they could have proceeded. So there wasn't just a total breakdown of communication between the two platoons.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else in the channel have a comment? Cool. You guys want to know, because we basically did an AAR afterwards with the entire company about this engagement. So I know what happened outside the fog of war. Do you guys want to know what happened, what was going on outside the fog of war?
Yeah. My first question is, you did this in real life under what situation? Was this like a Milsim event or an airsoft event, or was this?
Yeah, it was a Milsim event. Okay. Yeah, you were gone when I was talking about that. It was one of the Milsim West events, and I will continue to go to every single one of those in the future that I'm possibly able to go to because I straight up felt like I was on an FTX when I was out there. It was that level of Milsim. Like this, how the rule sets that they were using was the same kind of stuff that we were using in training for our FEXs. Like how they were doing call for fire and mortars and simulating that kind of stuff was identical to how we did it in the field in training. And their actual medical rules was actually really, really good to simulate, hey, I'm working on you, and it allowed units to culminate. Like we ran out of medical supplies very, very quickly, so you didn't just have like a rolling respawn. And yeah, I will continue to go to that from those events as often as I can and spend whatever it costs to get there, just because it's such an outstanding training experience for me that I had, that I will continue to get training value out of it.
Can you pay for me to go too?
Were there a lot of military guys at it?
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I said, in like real life, when I did this mission, my platoon sergeant, I just met him the day prior. He was an active Army sniper section leader. I had a lot of prior experience in my platoon. My squad leaders were all civilians, but they were pretty squared away for being civilians. The company first sergeant was a real Army master sergeant. The company commander was a reserve Army captain. The freaking company XO was the company XO was a fucking piece of shit. I actually hated him.
How were the weapons? How was the weapons fire handled? Were those airsoft weapons? Like what were those weapons?
There were blank fire and airsoft weapons. So that's why in that video you heard a lot of actual gunfire, because there was a lot of blank fire on the field. So the way they did the weapon hits was I was actually really impressed by, there was like 300 people, maybe 250 people at this event, and everybody was actually calling hits by blank fire weapons. So pretty much if you saw somebody shooting at you with a blank fire and he had you dead to rights, or he had a good line of fire on you and you were within a normal airsoft gun range, then you were dead, or you just counted yourself hit. And it added a lot to the fact to actually come under what sounded like real gunfire, and most of the blank firing rifles were freaking 7.62, so they were loud as shit. And then all the airsoft guns, like the guys that are going to these events have freaking souped up nice guns. They're shooting probably effective out to 50 meters. And in this kind of terrain, you were usually closer than 50 meters anywhere you could see, except for that giant open area.
Okay.
Anyway, everything that happened, including the vehicles breaking down, the trucks not working, all that actually happened. All those wrenches got thrown into my plan. Once we got to that security position, we moved out, made contact with that sniper team. While we were engaging that sniper team, 2nd platoon and just left the security. I still don't know why they left that security, but if you look at the map, they basically went across that way for some random ass reason. And then we lost radio comms with them for whatever reason. So they left the area and we lost radio comms. Way to the north was where those special forces teams were. And even farther to the north was where the sniper teams were. And we didn't have comms with the sniper teams. Like a click to the south of where this dismount point is, the company HQ and 3rd platoon got ambushed on the road while the truck was driving up and got decisively engaged. That's why we didn't have comms with them most of the time. And when we made contact with the enemy around here, it was an enemy platoon in an ambush position because they did exactly what Wigan had said. They heard us coming because it was so thick. So they basically got online and waited. And as soon as we made contact, they punched another squad out this way, and they maneuvered in the exact same direction that we were maneuvering, and those two maneuver elements hit each other, and that's why our maneuver elements stalled. And branching off of their maneuver element, a fire team tried to swing around to behind us, and that's what ended up getting behind us with that one fire team. We ended up breaking contact, getting to the top of that hill, getting to defense, and their platoon continued the attack, and we beat off their attack once we got to that 360. It was like maybe 60 seconds after that platoon, that enemy platoon broke contact with pretty heavy casualties on their part, that a second enemy platoon, full strength, hit us from the other side and tried to bum rush us with a squad through that opening. And we just fucking laid out half the squad when they were trying to come through that opening, that clearing. And then we fought the good fight. And at the very last second, freaking company finally got comms with me. And we dropped freaking mortars right in the middle of their assault. They broke contact after the mortars came in. So that's what actually happened without the fog of war.
Did the mortars kill the platoon sergeant, or was he already dead?
He was already dead. He grabbed like 3 dudes, and right before he went over that berm, he tossed a couple frags to each dude, and they went over the berm and completely caught the enemy platoon by surprise. Those 3 or 4 guys with their grenades got like a squad reinforced before they were killed. And then the mortar fire ended up killing off the rest of their assault. Yeah, that's what happened. I encourage everybody to, whenever they get into leadership positions or whatever leadership positions they are, come up with stuff like this. It's really good, different kind of training to do with your platoons or sections. You can scale it way down depending on what level you're at. And like this took an hour and a half, 2 hours. But you can do a squad training like this with your team leaders and stuff like that pretty easily and pretty quickly. Just put some effort. I've got a Word document that I've got up behind this all. Basically going through exactly how the actual mission went down, and you can do the exact same thing for your guys' trainings. Changes up a little bit, gets a little bit kind of a different thing, gets guys thinking, I think more actually critically thinking and getting some what ifing going on. So take that away for what it is, and I'll open up the last call for any comments, suggestions, anything. Yeah, Watson.
Just building off what you said, I've heard Gordon use the term turning the map around. So just if you were playing the attack from the enemy's perspective, how would you approach the situation?
Yeah, definitely. That's a kind of a planning consideration that
User disconnected from
is
your
very
channel.
beneficial. Just turn the map around and be like, okay, I'm the bad guy. This is my mission. How am I going to stop Blue 4? And then coming up with that kind of thought pattern in your mind when you execute and when you do your plan. It's a very good thing to do. And this kind of thing can help you do it. Like, if you want to set up a in-depth planning meeting, first 20 minutes can be like, okay, if I were the bad guys, what would I do? And talk it out over a map. That's definitely something that you can use this for. Anybody else?
When you having another one of these?
I don't know. Would everybody in the channel, do you think this would be something beneficial for me to keep doing every once in a while?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I know the more in-depth I get into this, the less applicable it is to Arma. But so understanding that, do you think it's still beneficial?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I will probably sometime next month try to do another one of these. It takes a little bit of time just to, like you saw, I had videos ready to go and pictures and stuff to help paint that word picture and paint that image. So it takes a little bit of in-depth planning to get a good one out. But I'll try to do these once a month, maybe once every other month.
Well, thank you.
I did not get a screenshot of TeamSpeak when we first started, so we were missing like 6 or 7 people. So if you know somebody that's not here right now that was here earlier, can you send me a PM with that name? And I have everyone else.